Hi everybody. Today I wanted to speak about VPNs. There is so many information running around about VPNs which makes no sense. Don't think that VPN is going to protect you or like the people think that they get anonymous using VPN or they can just bypass so many things or not being tracked. But it's kind of a really bad conception. So first of all, the use case of the VPN, it's used for remote work access. It's used to access corporate network or organization network remotely. It's used on public Wi-Fi to avoid to being spied on a Wi-Fi. But I'm going to touch on that point. It's used to access global content, like if you want to stream video that is not allowed in a country. Many people use VPN to look like they come from another country, and that's something that's a use case, I guess. And they think they can hide their IP address through a VPN. So let's tackle some issue there. First of all, we're gonna go through the actual concept of the VPN right there. What happens is when you get a VPN client running on your machine, ignore the IP because they don't make really sense, but basically the usual network traffic goes through the firewall, you go to the internet through your ISP, Internet Service Provider, and the Internet Service Provider see everywhere you go. They see DNS requests, they see all the IP requests and all the traffic live. So what happens if you want to escape the ISP or Internet Service Provider and not being spied on by them? You can actually use an encrypted tunnel, so-called VPN, which are going to go on a VPN server and then allow you to access some other resources that you want. And when you do that, the traffic goes encrypted in transport, doesn't go through your ISP. It actually goes through the ISP, but encrypted, so the ISP do not know what's happening in the tunnel, and it goes out there. But what's happening, it's not actually hiding. You are actually moving the spying eye from your local ISP, governed by your local laws, to a server in another country, which is basically your new ISP, that actually see everything you do. Because don't think that they don't see it. The VPN provider sees everything you do the same way your ISP sees it when you do not use the VPN. So you are basically transferring who's watching you to another server. And the issue is, if you pick a server in a country that has more restrictive laws, you may be doing illegal things you don't even know about. Let's say you are based in Canada and you use your ISP, you are protected by consumers protection laws, and everything you do, you do legal stuff, and you have nothing to fear about. They sure collect the data, do the profiling, sell some information about you. That's a privacy issue, yes, okay. But you are still protected by your local laws. When you take a VPN, and let's say you go through, I don't know, Middle East country, or you try to escape, or in the US, especially these days, and then your traffic goes out in the USA, what happens is that you are routing all your activity in the US. So basically, what might be legal in Canada and not in the US, then you are becoming liable for it because the VPN provider is mandated to record the logs of the activity. And if you do anything illegal, which you may not know about because it's not your country. So, and it works the other way around as well. But let's say you do that and you get an investigation against you, the VPN provider will be legally mandated to give away the logs, and you will be exposed and you will face some potential charges, which you will not. So don't think like the VPN is hiding anything. It's just transferring the out-exit node to another place. That's one of the use that people think about. The second use case that we can have see, it's just another illustration how to see it, is when organization actually use a VPN to access corporate network or your private home network, because it's very easy to set up a VPN. You have many distribution. I may do a video about that at some point, but you can use PyVPN, which is super easy way to implement VPN using either OpenVPN or any other IPsec kind of VPN. It's very nicely done. WireGuard is one of them, and you can use, when you set up PyVPN, you can do either OpenVPN or WireGuard. WireGuard is a lower layer VPN, which is interesting to do. So what's happening there is you get connected on your, and I do recommend that if you travel, you should actually have a VPN on your mobile device or your laptop, whatever, which is connecting to a gateway that you own, and that become the exit node, which is allowing you access either to corporate network or your home network. So what's happening is when you do travel, your data goes through your VPN on your VPN server, and then you have access to your stuff and the web as well, because it gets in and then out to the web, and you get through your ISP again. And you really have to assess, what's better, accessing the ISP, your own ISP in your country, or something else. Because when you are roaming, traveling, you don't know what's happening on the local network, on the mobile provider, or if it's roaming to foreign stuff, if it's the network on the wireless network is getting a fake cell tower and you get spy on the mobile network. So the VPN makes a difference there and protect your information. That's something to consider. So, and getting back to the idea of the VPN, I have another picture here that highlights some of the issues with the VPN risks. So you got logs and data collection. So that's funny because people they do buy a VPN to access, they want to download peer-to-peer stuff or illegal stuff or just browse pseudo-anonymously. Issue is the VPN provider must keep the logs. Even though they say they won't sell it, if there is an investigation against them, they will have to hand over the logs. And if it's not stored, they might have an investigation ongoing where the law enforcement will tap the line and actually get the logs. So it's not protecting you from anything really, except that you are exposed to unknown legislation, to an unknown provider, which you have no idea about. So that's something to consider. Man-in-the-middle attack. When you use a VPN, you may also be exposed to whatever is in between you and the target. You could have deep packet inspection, which is like breaking TLS encryption, and you will get encryption warning, which may look like, yeah, it's part of the VPN. I use a VPN, so I have some encryption warning because it's like protecting me. But what if it's not protecting you? It's actually breaking the encryption to do the deep packet inspection. That's something to consider. And finally, you may have an unencrypted exit node. You may establish a secure browser, it look like HTTPS, TLS, or whatever stuff. And on the exit node, which you don't control, it's not yours if you use a public VPN server, then they might just tunnel that thing, decrypt through a valid TLS certificate, SSL certificate, so-called, it's TLS, but, and when they decrypt, they may re-encrypt after, and you get a man in the middle that see all the clear, basically the same as deep packet inspection, but a cheap way of doing it. So that's something really to consider. And I see many article as this one. You just search what are the best VPN services for 2026, and you're gonna ask like this. So they all come this way: Proton VPN, which I like it. I mean, if you need to use it, that's something. NordVPN, ExpressVPN. But if you look for a VPN provider, you want also to do a search online, let's say a search engine, and see which one has been leaking. And there are some other technical consideration as well, because I'm gonna get back to the picture about the risks. Some VPN provider do not protect the whole internet traffic, which means that they might have been providing you a tunnel which encrypt the actual data transit, but the DNS requests do leak. They do not force the DNS request to go through it, which means that the DNS requests are going to still be exposed and just showing where you are browsing, what you are accessing. So you have to be very careful about that, And the other option is, you get to anonymity. Even if the traffic is protected and encrypted, you also have your machine and your internet browser that do leak information about your machine. There is a nice website, it's very old but still relevant, that shows, it's called Browser Leaks. It shows what your browser is leaking about you. And what's very interesting is that the information, the footprint, and the unique signature of your machine remain the same if you use a VPN or not. So that means that if you've been spotted on, let's say, illegal cracked software download site, something, or a trapped or a honeypot, law enforcement honeypot, and your signature remain the same even if you use a VPN, even if it goes to China or Switzerland or whatever, you will be tagged anyway and identified. So that's something to keep in mind. So what are the actual use case of a VPN where it makes sense to you? Two things. You are traveling and you want your data to be protected because you don't know where you're going to go. You should use a VPN to a trusted provider. Ideally, it should be you. It should be your server at home, self-hosted. It's very easy to do. That's something to consider. Check again, PiVPN, PiVPN, and that's something easy to install on a Raspberry Pi or on a Debian Linux machine, or even a virtual machine is going to work. That's going to allow you to be connected to your home your home network, your home internet, even when you're traveling. Your mobile phone through LTE, if you're on public Wi-Fi, you will remain connected. If it's a work device, your organization will actually provide you with a VPN as well, and it allows you to connect to the remote resource of remotely to the resource of the organization. But they may also provide you the same thing for internet access. So you will actually inherit from the security tools like data leak prevention, security, malware detection that comes into the bundle as well. So that's something to consider. Now, if you want to access like Netflix, let's say you want to, this is what people do. They want to see a show that is only restricted in a certain country. They will need a VPN to look like they are connected in that country. Let's say you want something that's only in the US, you want Canada, so you take a VPN. If you do that, you need to really assess what you are doing and which provider you take. I do like Proton VPN because, Proton VPN is based in Switzerland, but they do allow you to connect from many locations. And they do not dig into your privacy. This is the core value of the system. If you look in the news, they didn't leak anything except some metadata during law enforcement investigation, but it was not a big deal. So that's something to consider if you want to do. But that's for a single use case. I would not, base all my internet browsing on a remote VPN which I don't know about. I would just use for a specific use case for a limited time. The only VPN I would trust would be the VPN I self-host, or you should self-host your own, and do it this way. If you don't have the ability to do it at home, you may also consider to take some cloud provider. I don't like the cloud, but some privacy-focused cloud provider. Let's say OVH. It's a French cloud provider, and they make it very clear in the terms and conditions, and you have to look, when you subscribe to it, that they will not spy on your data, they will not resell your data, they will not exploit it. So let's say you want a VPN gateway of yours, then you may run a small VPS, it's going to be $4 a month or something like that, or 5 or 6, depends. And you take a Debian machine, you put PyVPN on it, and then there you go, you have your own private VPN gateway, and you become your own VPN provider. And then it will be where it's located, and you own it. You know you are not going to distribute the logs to anyone else. And that's potentially the best way if you want to be your own VPN provider. So back to the VPN offers, like all the VPN solutions out there. It might, like ExpressVPN, NordVPN, all these guys. It's convenient if you want for some reason. Let's say you are in a country, you don't want to be spied on, this is the only thing you have. Cute. But I would not trust it for my personal information at all. So that's something to consider. I hope this is going to help. If you have any question, leave comments. I will be happy to answer and bring more information. And that's about it. It was time to clear a bit about the VPN misconception. VPN is encrypting the transport only, so from between your client and the VPN server, and that's it. Out of the VPN server, it's not encrypted. Before the VPN server, it's not encrypted. So choose your provider wisely. Ideally, be your own provider, and choose your use case wisely as well. Don't get trapped into some kind of fake ID of privacy which do not exist with VPNs. Just protecting the traffic. I hope it's going to help. I wish you a great day and see you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. I hope this video is going to be shared around to bring some awareness on the topic. See you later.